Between 1940 and 1950, when the world went to war, so did the Hmong. World War II didn't just change Europe. It reached deep into the mountains of Laos. And for the Hmong, this wasn't just a foreign war. It was the beginning of alliances, betrayals, and battles that would shape everything we know today. In 1940, France was weak, and Japan moved in, occupying Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. This was the end of the old French colonial grip and the start of Japanese control over Indochina. But in the highlands, where the French still had loyal allies, they didn't give up. They turned the Hmong to fight a hidden war. The Hmong became guerrilla fighters, scouts, and informants. Their knowledge of the mountains made the Hmong dangerous to the enemy. One leader who rose during this time was Bliayao, son of the French-appointed chief Bliayao. At first, he worked with the French system, but after seeing how little they gave back to the Hmong, he began organizing his own resistance. During World War II, Da made a risky choice. He began cooperating with anti-French nationalist movements like the Lao Isla, which were supported by the Japanese and other anti-colonial forces. Some called him a traitor. Others called him a freedom fighter. But Da wasn't just fighting the war in the jungle. He was also fighting for Hmong autonomy, the right to rule themselves. On the other side stood Touby Lyfoung, educated by the French and trained in their schools. During World War II, he led Hmong militia forces in support of the Free French resistance against the Japanese. He protected villages, helped the French gather intelligence, and earned their trust as a military leader. By the end of the war, Touby Lyfoung had become a symbol of loyal Hmong leadership to the West. But this set the stage for a deep divide. Da versus Touby, revolution versus loyalty, a future with communists or with kings. For ordinary Hmong people, it didn't matter who was in power, Japanese, French, Lao, or rebel. They were caught in the middle. Farms were destroyed, villages were burned, boys were taken to fight, and women had to flee deeper into the mountains. Many Hmong joined resistance groups not for ideology, but for survival. They had to choose sides or be crushed between them. In 1945, the Japanese had fallen. The French returned, but the seeds of future war were already planted. The split between Da's people and Touby's people would become the foundation for the next deadly chapter, the First Indochina War. The 1940s were more than just a global war. They were the first time Hmong leaders made choices that would lead their people into national and international politics. Da believed in independence, even if it meant allying with communists. Touby Lyfoung believed in stability, even if it meant standing with colonizers. Neither was fully right and neither was fully wrong. But from this moment on, the Hmong were no longer invisible. They were in a war, and they would never be left out of history again.